Yeah, no, Doc D.O.C. goes all the way back with me in the '90s,
Okay.
and it goes to a guy, Rodney G, and Rodney G managed a lot of artists, DFC, MC Breed, even Tupac at one time. Myself and Rodney linked up, and that's how I know the D.O.C.
We are back with another chaotic one-on-one, and today we are sitting down with a brand owner, a CEO. You know I love to promote the building and the success of strong black men out here in this world, and we sitting down with another one. How you doing, Dana Johnson? What's going on at this point in your life?
Man, everything is good. So far, so good. I don't have no complaints, man. The weather's changing here in Chicago, so we got a good stretch. We got a good 6, 7 months of good, great weather. So yeah, no complaints over here, man.
Who is Dana before the brand?
Who is Dana before the brand? That's a good question. You mean as far as like business or as far as a person?
As far as being a person before
Um,
before you identify and they know Dana as the brand, who is Dana as the person?
I would say in conclusion, I would say that he, meaning me as a person that just wants to see everybody do well. You
Okay.
know, that's not out for myself. That that's willing to not just split it down the middle, but just spread it all around.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's the best way to be too as well.
yeah,
So when we speaking on the brand, we know Warren Davis. Where did you come up in is Warren Davis London, correct?
yeah. It's actually Warren Davis, but it's from London.
Okay. Where did
Uh,
you come up with the name for your brand?
it's a pseudonym. I call it a pseudonym. Uh, Originally, the concept was to distance myself from the name, but at the same time, it's like I would say on this interview, they'll probably get the real where it comes from and basically like the real history of it. We were in China.
Mm-hmm.
That was what, a couple of years ago, either 2, 3 years ago. I think a couple of years ago, because actually they're in China right now. They got there Friday, so they go twice a year.
Okay.
I met with manufacturers and such. The crazy part is this journey. How I can tell this is God's journey and not my journey is because when I went to China, I didn't go for clothing. I went I went for there's a female rapper from Chicago and we were doing lashes.
Mm-hmm.
And because lashes are so affordable in China, we are going to brand the lashes. And then something happened with her mom at the time. So I had to kind of like fade back and then let's just say some things didn't pan out right, for her family. So
Mm-hmm.
we just kind of like it just kind of like disappeared, so to speak. It just like didn't happen. But I was in China and I was sitting in a room because in China, you either stay in the room or either you go to other places where the other people in the group, like I believe it was 12 of us. So
Mm-hmm.
other people wanted to go to clothing. So I
Right.
went to clothing. I'm like, well, I'm not going to stay in a room. I'm going to go wherever you all went.
Right.
So
Right.
we're in a little van in China, whatever. And it's like an hour away. And so I'm just sitting there. And so I've done something right before that for an actress named LisaRaye from Chicago,
Yeah. We familiar.
and yeah, and on that I have a Montclair. I have a Montclair sweatshirt, and I purchased a Montclair sweatshirt from Nordstrom's.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I purchased it because I really, really wanted it because I didn't really actually see red. I'm like, oh, I gotta have it. Look at the thread. Look at the red. So I paid up. It was actually on sale finally, and
Mm-hmm.
it was 380.
Okay.
So I said that to say that I knew what I was willing to pay and what I wanted and how different it was. So with that being said, skipping ahead, when I was in London, excuse me, when I was in China, I'm sitting there in the room. And as I'm sitting there in the room, I look across the room and I asked the lady, I said, what is that? And she said, oh, yeah, yeah, it's a hoodie, it's a sweatshirt. I was like, no, what is that? I said, I know what that is. And I knew what it was. And I'm a firm believer that life works backwards. So the reason for me purchasing that Montclair was to get me to this point.
Okay.
Life, yeah, life works in reverse. So I said, well, how much is that? She told me the price. I just kept adding. I was like, well, what if I get this? What if I get that? And she just kept the price the same. And I was like, okay. I was like, and then finally she went up like $1. And I said, oh, I'm in. I said, I said, I'm, I'm in. So, with that being said, clothing is not really what I do. I'm known for more marketing and business. Marketing and business is what I do, and it allows me to go from business to business. I've been in the liquor business, still in the antique business, like several different businesses because it allows me to do that. So, yeah, when we got back on the little bus, I'll just say this part. Once we got back on the little bus, I was going through a name, and somebody emailed me, and his name was Warren. So I was asking everybody on the bus because when you're on the bus for 45 minutes to an hour, I'm like, all right, well, man, I need to find a name. So I needed something with punch.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, I was like, Paul Stewart. I was like, when you say Paul Stewart, you like Paul Stewart. I was like, I need someone with punch. And some guy emailed me from a real estate company named Warren. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, Warren? I was like, Warren. I was like, hey, do y'all like Warren? It was like, yeah, we like Warren. And I don't know if his last name was Davis, so I came up with the last name Davis. And I just stuck with it. And I said, and I hollered on the back of the bus. I was like, Warren Davis? I was like, y'all like it? They said, yeah. I was like, that's what it is.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's where it came from.
So, with that being said, you came up with the name. Like, what was the first piece that you came up with? And was it something that you put on the market, or was it something that you just pushed to friends first?
No, no, I don't like, I'm not the typical person that stays in the box. Even on social media, I'll add this that when I first got started back on social media, because I was in a relationship for a while, so it was like with her, it's like I got kind of sidetracked, so I wasn't on social media. I was off, so I had just got back on when I got out of the relationship with her. So I've been on there for three years, and I was going up to people and asking them how many followers they have,
Mm-hmm.
and then based on how many followers they have, I kept telling them I don't care how many followers I have. I care how many followers you have. Because if I have several people with 2 million followers, then I can get into that system.
Mm-hmm.
So, with what you're saying, I've always thought outside of the box. So, the friends, it didn't matter to me. I want to sell to a stranger. Like, because that stranger is like that's kind of like let's just use the word validation. I'll say this. Yesterday on TikTok, I did a video. Put the video on TikTok, and a guy added it to favorites, and I'm like, and then it said, and then I looked into where he was, and it said he's from South Dakota, and I'm like, and then I noticed that he wasn't selling anything, so he didn't do it for his like to his advantage. So yesterday, I'm just constantly thinking like, why did he add that to favorites?
Mm-hmm.
But those are the things that I like. So no, in reference to what you're saying, no, it wasn't about friends and families. Like it wasn't about pushing that because that's the easy part. Um, it was more about marketing and more about belief. A person believing in not just the brand but the concept, but believing in a way whereas you make something unreal, make it real. So I said that to say that basically what I did was there was a place, I'll try to make it brief. There was a place where we were in China, and I went into a store, and it was called like Ferris Bueller. So I think the movie is called Paris Bueller?
Ferris Bueller's Day Off,
Right,
something like that.
right. So there's a brand like I think it's Paris Bueller.
Yeah. Okay.
And then at the bottom it had Switzerland. So when I walked in, I was like, "Oh, these are nice." I was like, "Oh, I'm finna grab one of these." I looked at the price and like, "Oh God, this is." oh, this is more than Gucci. I was like, so the thing was, I just felt like in Chicago or in the States or in the US, we don't know who these people are. But look at the price. They're making all this money. So I felt like with Warren Davis, I was like, I gotta make it somewhere else. So I kept saying Paris. And I was like, no, Paris isn't it. I was like, Monaco? I was like, no. And it said London. And I was like, London. So yeah, with that being said, I decided on London, and then I didn't want to fake people out. I wanted to make something. I wanted to make a vision reality. I wanted to make something unreal real. So I flew to London.
Hmm.
I flew to London because I do crazy stuff. I flew to London, and then I said, hey, since I'm down here for the Bears, so I was down there for the Bears game, and I was like, hey, why don't I just open up an office in London? So I opened up an office in London.
Okay, okay. Boss moves out here.
It's just,
So
it's well, yeah.
with that being said, like I see that you say, you know, you tied the clothing into being a marketer and things like that. Now, what is there been something or anything that has happened along the way that made you want to quit any of this, or you the type to keep pushing forward?
Oh, to quit this like as if it didn't work or didn't work to my satisfaction or standard.
Yeah, like the with the
Nah,
whole
this.
grand scheme of everything, with the clothing being added to marketing and everything, has there been any pressures that made you want to stop along your journey?
Let me say this. This is God's plan. This is way far past me. And everybody don't believe in God. So I'm using that term as in whoever believes in something or somebody, that's what it is. I'm more so making a point that it's not about me. And how I know that for the first time in my life, because I'm an older person, not too old, but how I know it for the first time in my life is I've never had something fall into place so easily and so simple. Where uh, I've dealt with a lot of celebrity or artists or let's say recording artists and such, and those people I reached back out to them, and maybe a couple reached out to me and did it, meaning assisted me in ways without any compensation.
Okay, okay. Because I was just gonna bring that up. I seen that you did some business with the D.O.C., which we know
Yeah.
is a legend in the game. What was the ties between you guys? Was you working on a project, a special project, or was it strictly for ambassador clothing? How was y'all relationship, you know,
No,
came together?
DOC. Yeah, no, Doc DOC goes all the way back with me in the '90s,
Okay.
and it goes to a guy, Rodney G, and Rodney G managed a lot of artists, DFC, MC Breed, even Tupac at one time. Tupac was over here in Chicago, whatever, standing on the corner. That's when Save the Children promotion used to do the amphitheater back then. So Rodney, I know Rodney from Rodney married somebody that was from the area that I'm from.
Hmm.
And so that's how I knew him, because she knew that I was doing music. So she's always been helpful. So myself and Rodney linked up, and that's how I know the DOC in the '90s. So in the '90s, we were me and my partner, which at the time was Lafayette. Lafayette is his name. We had a company, Southside Entertainment and Selective Records,
Hmm.
and so um, we were one of the only ones with a recording studio back in the mid '90s. Us and a guy Chuck from Filthy Rich Records. Chuck goes by Polar Bear now, is his
Okay.
rap name. But so basically people were like, oh well, let's go over there. They have a recording studio. Everybody wants like nobody else had one, and they have one. So it gave us that advantage. And so with Doc DOC, I tried to work with him in the '90s, and I remember when I called him at his house, this 214 number. I called him at his house, and he said, Dre just sent for me. It was like that voice. It's like it was like I can't do nothing. Dre just sent for me. I have to go to LA. And I don't know if that's when the chronic, I don't know when that, whatever, when, so maybe it's the chronic. I don't know which
Yeah, I
one came
believe
out.
it.
Yeah.
Chronic probably was.
Yeah. I talked to him right then. I caught, and ever since then, I had wanted to work with him from some aspect. I didn't. And back then, I used to work with artists like Bushwick Bill, like I said, MC Breed. We had them on some of our artists' albums and such. And
Okay.
the D.O.C. never happened. So I reached back out recently with the brand, and then I seen what was important to him. What's important to him is his foundation. And I found a way to say, hey, well, you know what? I have a way where we can like make it work for everybody. So I did a rhinestone. I was getting rhinestones from Africa.
Hmm.
And when I got the rhinestones from Africa, I made a custom piece for it. And he just loved it so much that he was like, "Oh, I got to wear this in London." So I'm gonna say this: that DOC wasn't even going to London. So this is how it works. DOC wasn't even going to London. Somebody reached out to him saying, "Hey, we have this situation, or we have this in London." So he just recently started going to London. I was never going to London, and so the way that the energy, let's just say energy instead of God. So whoever doesn't believe, the way that it works is that I had no association with London and he wasn't going to London. But now we're both in London and associating in London.
That's
So
what's up.
so he wore it in London. And I mean, he wore it and it's just like it just kept pushing, like because he just like wore it at this event, but it just like the momentum just was gone because he did an invite collaboration with the brand on Instagram. I go by Warren Davis underscore London. So when
Hmm.
he did that, a lot of people just bam, 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 like it's follow, like a lot of stuff is happening, whatever. So that was very good. So I will say this one thing because you asked me a question. It eventually came to a pause because he had to get back on the plane, like, so it stops at some level. It stopped for about 3 days, and that was just recently, and I had to, like, I felt like, dang, that momentum has been nonstop for like months, not just through him but through everybody. It's been nonstop. So for the first time it slowed down and it kind of died down,
Hmm.
and I was like, what are we gonna do? It's like, this is what it feels like when it starts slowing down. And then after that, a guy named Swag De Niro from Chicago, he he sent something through Instagram and said, "Hey, did you see it?" And I'm like, "See what?" He's like, "Did you see it?" I'm like, "Who's on Swag stuff?" Because I know he's like kind of locked up right now. I'm like, see what?" So he sent it again, and Swag put the brand he's wearing all black in his video.
Okay.
And so it popped 40,000 views, 37,000 views in 24 hours. And then the momentum started again.
That's
And
what's up.
so, yeah. And so then, which was like a couple of weeks ago or so, and then I felt like, you know what? I've got to always keep that momentum and always keep that drive. So, in relation to what you said earlier about does anything like, or has anything happened to make me like kind of like detour, or like kind of like, I don't know, maybe I should like slow down and not do it? Yeah, that happened.
Okay. So I know also too that you know a friend of mine, a really good friend of mine. She goes by the name of Maniac MC.
Maniac MC, one of our
Maniac
artists.
MC is up here, well, was up here where I'm at in Minnesota. And for a long period of time in the game of like the 90s, we musically ran a lot of everything up here. What was your association with Maniac MC? How did y'all connect? And what type of history did y'all have?
Yeah, Mooka, which is known by the stage name Maniac MC, was through her relatives. I'm not sure if it was Vic, whatever, but through her relatives, because the area she comes from, which is the area where I'm from, the Wild Hundreds, and she was more so in the Gardens and Golden Gates, which is minutes away, whatever. But the association with people from the hundreds, from the South Side of Chicago, somebody, no, it was Mo. It was her. It was Mo. I don't know if that was her. No, it wasn't her uncle, but I don't know. It was Mo, and Mo. knew my partner, my business partner, Lafayette, Loft.
Mm-hmm.
And so the association began there. I just remember when we heard her, the delivery, I won't say the delivery was so powerful, but the delivery was so, it was commercial. It was polished. It was very good. It
Yeah,
was what was working.
phenomenal. Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah. So it wasn't like she had punch, like she had the punch, but even her punch wasn't like it wasn't street, it wasn't ghetto. It was still commercial. It was still clean. It was still clean. Like it was still clean. Like you can put her like in front of like downtown. At that time, you could still put her in front of a ball. Well, matter of fact, she was in a ballroom because we actually did. She won the WGCI seminar in I think 1999.
Mm-hmm.
She won. So yeah. So speaking of ballroom, she was so polished and so clean, but it still had punch that you can put her in front of a ballroom. And she won. She was after she did the WGCI seminar and she won. So people, I'm talking about people sit down, a banquet hall format, but you talking about, over 1,000, 1,500 people sitting, eating banquet style and still big stage. So yeah, it was, yeah, Mooka Maniac MC. She was, and I actually still to think to this day, even 2026, I believe that she still has it. At the time, we started working with people in Minnesota, AK, Goody, and Rob, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I hope I'm saying it right. I believe it was Rob. And and they was really, really good because they came with that Minnesota commercial sound that we hadn't really actually identified with. Because we talking about the 90s. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know I don't know what it is or where it came from, but I know what I'm listening to. I'm like, this is what's happening. But at the same time, Mooka to me was the song "Parties Jumping"
Mm-hmm.
was was kind of like a little bit ahead of his time. We did have a deal that we got uh, confronted with Warlock Records, and we decided not to do it because they offered a single deal. So some people might think, oh, well, Southside Entertainment, they never did anything. Oh no, we got offered deals. We got offered another deal through Undeniable. Frank Thomas offered us 25,000, which was great. But we were the type of people that wanted to share with the producers and wanted to share. And once you just share everything, it really wasn't nothing to do. But Frank did offer 25. We went down there. I seen Frank like face to face. We got offered, like I said, with Warlock Records. Warlock Records at the time, some people don't know, but Warlock was Trick Daddy. Trick Daddy came up under Slip and it said Slip and Slide / Warlock Records. So
Okay.
we didn't know what it was, but then when we started seeing it on whatever MTV or BET, we was like, wait, that says Warlock right beside Slip and Slide. So behind Warlock was Adam Levy and Joey Bonner. And those were, you can Google those names, those were the hitmen in the music business.
Okay.
So, but Warlock Records offered us a single deal, a $10,000 deal. And the deals that I'm talking about are on paper. Like these aren't like like these are deals, like real deals. Like here's the contract, here's the paperwork. I
Okay.
had water damage since then, so otherwise, I keep everything, but a lot of stuff I still have, whatever. But I was like, I have like documents to, verify, but we just decided not to do it. So, and then she ended up, meaning Mooka Maniac MC ended up getting a distribution deal when we won the WGCI seminar, I believe in 1999, with IMI Records, which was Bobby Francovillo.
Okay.
And then he started distributing it Midwest because he wanted Mooka Maniac MC, but he learned that she was up under our Selective Record brand through Southside Entertainment Production Company. So we worked it out where he was the distributor, which was IMI.
That's what's up. So switching lanes back into the clothing or marketing, because I see that you got many hats under your umbrella. What's one of the biggest misconceptions that people think about this game that they think is right, but is actually wrong?
The biggest misconception that people have about the game, uh, I would probably say that, well, let me do it in reverse, maybe, because it might make it better. To me, it's very simple. I think that they think that it's very hard or difficult. I think they're doing things that's unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that, like, sort of like, I have my brand on now, which this is Warren Davis. This is a limited or limited edition, special edition that comes out. But you might see a couple of celebrities with it on, but not. But I do test market. So I'll put this on and I'll go downtown to Nordstrom's and walk around. And I pay attention to the people on that scale and how they look at me. And I notice that they keep staring at me. It lets me know that my brand is on that level because they do the same thing. They look at me, they look at my shirt, and then they look at the logo, or either vice versa. They switch it up. So I'm saying that to say that there's different other ways to market things and to do things. And I think that so many people are just concentrating on social media and the new way of doing things that a lot of people are wasting a lot of time.
Yeah, that makes a
because
lot of
I've
sense.
accomplished because I've accomplished my insights on social media in the last 3 years is I have approaching like my total insights for social media, my interactions, like videos, views, comments is approaching 40 million. That's 40. Like I'm a part of Instagram. I got like 123,000 likes on a comment that I made, and it comes to my phone. TikTok, uh, like 19 million views. All this is done in like 3 years, and it's like so many people try so hard that they're doing too much. Like
Yeah.
it's just not that necessary. And it's not just about like, oh, well, you know D.O.C. or you knew or I know LisaRaye or I can call Dion Cole and I've associated and I've had Bushwick Bill from Ghetto Boys stay with me for a while and et cetera. Like, oh yeah, you have the relationships. I tell people all the time, this thing is about relationships and resources before money.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, so what, like, why do you feel like somebody should pick Warren Davis as the brand over the next brand?
I believe that because my objective is not to sell a lot.
Okay.
I don't want it oversaturated. The intention is not for everybody to have it. It's not like a selective few type thing. That's not the game we playing. It's just that I'm still able to control it by the quantities that I manufacture. So if I manufacture and it's worldwide and I say, all right, my runs are 200 a run and I'm doing 2 runs and that's 400, in whatever 50 states, 51, 52 states or whatever, uh, not including other countries, then I'm like, the chance of you seeing it, when you go out, when you step out, is less than when somebody goes out and sees somebody else wearing the same thing.
Right.
But yeah, Warren Davis is different. Uh, it's not oversaturated. Is the quality of it is the same or similar as the quality as the Gucci's, the Pradas. So when I seen it in China, I knew that because when you flip it over or you flip it on the inside, you can tell. So the quality is there, the brand is there. It's celebrity driven, not oversaturated. You won't just see it a lot. I've been told that you can wear the material I've been told that you can wear it year round, even in the summertime.
Okay.
I didn't look at it like that, but I've been told that. So it's different. It's just different. It's not like everything else.
If you had to describe your brand with one word or one sentence, what would that be?
I kind of, it's kind of hard. The first thing that come to, I would say is class, but it's kind of like class, style, and comfort.
Okay.
Um, because shockingly, I've had people wear it at high end engagements and such. The first person that wore it is Sam Silk. One of my markets is Cleveland. Sam Silk is a radio show in Cleveland. Sam Silk really, really loves the brand. He's very supportive. Uh, I supported Sam Silk when I used to do shows. I used to fly in A&R reps at the Click nightclub. We had a show in like '98. I've also done one for Shawnee, which is the Brat when I worked with Brat. But my point is that when Sam came to Chicago in like '98, he didn't even start the radio station. He was supposed to start the Monday. And one of the radio people I had two, I think Bad Boys like Mike Love and did, somebody didn't show up. And so the one guy was like, hey, put him up. And I said, who is this guy? It's like, this is Sam. I was like, I don't know him and the audience don't know him. So to make a long story short, he told me to put him up. I put him up. And so even though that was 1998, Sam is such a good guy that he remembered that. And so he reciprocated. So when I gave him the brand, Sam did the We Them Ones tour, I guess last year,
Hmm.
and he hosted the show in Cleveland. And I have it on my social media. 15,000 seats, and he has on my brand, or he has on the brand,
That's what's up. That is what's up.
and he sent it to me. So again, energy, relationships, and resources. People are just so quick to toss people away that what's driving this and driving everything is people I associated with all the way in the 90s, just like Mooka, just like Maniac. So I will say this. I'll say this and then I'll just leave it there. When you're good to people, then they remember it. So the amount of money that the label that myself and Loft spent, whatever with the label, and you just can't feel like everything came to an end, all that money was spent, and where did it go? You can get it back. Like you can get it back. It might be 20, 30 years later, but it's paying itself right back
Right.
because Mooka Maniac was one of the ones that said, Dana, um, I need you to look at this show. This is a very good show of Minnesota. She told me all about you, and that's what brought me here. The same energy. So relationships and resources outpass money.
That's what's up. So I do this thing like right before I end the interview, and I kind of call it like a this or that. I ask you three questions, give you two things in between those three questions for you to pick, and then tell me why do you choose the choice you made. Can you do that for me?
Well, let's try and see what happens. Let's try it.
Okay. So the first one is as far as your clothing, online or in store.
Oh, that type of, yeah, I seen you do that. Because I watched and before I went on, I was like, let me check and make sure. You said online and in store. Online. Online. Although the total goal, once I get this brand valued at 4 million, like it'll be valued at 3 to 4 million. In I don't know, like it's less than 2 years, like probably 2 3 years. Then the objective goal is to have the store in London, but online right now it's a more broad base. I can communicate more with a more people.
Okay. So my second one, you kind of answered it a little bit earlier, but I still give you a chance to give maybe a different perspective. Quality or quantity?
Quality all day long. Quantity is not one of my things.
For the person that might not understand the difference of quality and quantity for your perspective, would you explain so that they know what quantity versus quality actually means for your brand?
Well, what I do is, like I said, what I have on now, this is actually the next color that comes out. There's a couple of celebrities that have them, including like Terry Hunter, that does house music. Terry was just nominated for a Grammy mix with Yolanda Adams in November, and he still came and picked it up. That's when you can tell. I said, "This guy's nominated for a Grammy." He's like, "All right, yeah, I could pick it up today." I was like, "In the month he had it in November. In the month that he's nominated for a Grammy." But yeah, quality, like, yeah, I would just, yeah. The more so the concentration is more on quality than quantity. It's yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So my third one is, would you prefer marketing your brand or putting a design together to push it like in an old school type of way? So almost in a sense, they kind of fall in the same but in a different lane. Marketing versus promotion at the end of the day, what matters more for you?
You said marketing or promotion?
Yeah.
Like in a sense, they're the same. So you mean as far as
As far as like they're one and the same, but for your brand and for how you proceed
how?
from your crowd or who you push, what's more important, the marketing of it or just
Oh, okay.
making sure that the message is out there?
Oh, okay. Well, I would just say, well, I would say both, making sure that the message is out there. I would say both, but marketing entails the message. So it's not on this one, but on the original one. So this is a limited edition, special edition. So this one is not on the back, but on the original one, the black, the like the version with the color black, that version on the back, it says "Respect Life" at the
Okay.
top, and that's the motto because I feel like we're at a point where like a lot of people don't care. So that's what I push, like respect life. And so I put it because the hoodie goes down and it covers it when the hood is down. But I felt like when the hood goes up, then people like take a second look like, hey, who is this guy? What's gonna happen? Like, is this guy up to something or what? So it's like, but when you look at the back and you're like, oh, it says respect life. It's like nobody says respect life unless they respect life.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, that's what I
That's
really actually push is
That's
that.
what's up. That's the reason why I asked that last one is because sometimes you might see a Taco Bell commercial 300 times. Yes, they put a logic behind it, but they make sure that a lot more people see it versus a Maybach commercial is
Uh,
going to be intelligently put together, and you might see it a few times. So
yeah.
that's kind of the imbalance that I was asking.
Now I will say this. So when I was talking about Terry Hunter and the stuff, I was getting kind of like not emotional, but kind of like in a way because I was like I got sidetracked because I'm like this guy's nominated for a Grammy, like this guy. But in reference to what you were saying, as far as like the quality, these I do test markets. So this when I spoke about Terry Hunter and the people that have it, this has been out for like a year, but nobody had it because I tested for durability. I go around like it might be 6, 8 months where like I do a test market. So uh I make sure that the quality is up to par before it's really actually released. Like this is really up to par, so this will be released. Uh so while this is manufactured and you can see it, in another couple of weeks I start it's like a light blue with gray thread, and that's the one that I supposed to release with a rapper Bump J.
Yeah, I know.
Bump
Jay.
J will release the blue with gray. So I said that to say that the only people that'll know that or see that is like myself. I have it, Bump J, I have it, D.O.C, I have it, and then there's other guys. So only four. And then I would test the durability, test to make sure that the color, the quality, all that stuff. So it'll be a while. So Bump will probably have it in, probably supposed to be the first week in May, but other people probably won't see it for like 6 months or in the fall.
Okay.
So yeah, I make sure that the quality is there. I just don't slap something on something and then just say, yeah, buy it from me.
Yeah, and that's basically how you that was the perfect answer to that third one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Now,
I got yeah, not to cut you off, I got sidetracked a little bit because I was just thinking about Terry Hunter. I'm just like, this guy's like I don't want to have an emotional moment, but I mean, you got to understand that people are like doing stuff like swag. He just sent that, like, he just sent it. D.O.C is like, oh, I'm wearing mine in London. And he's just like walking around with it. And then Terry Hunter's like, yeah, I'm nominated. No, he didn't say it, but I'm like, he's nominated for a Grammy. He's like, hey, where you at? I'm on my way. I was like, those type of things are like, it goes back to your question. I'm like, people are just trying too hard. It's like, I'm not even trying at all. It's like, it's just falling right into place.
right, right. When it's meant to be, that's what exactly what it is.
I
So with
have
that,
people,
go
no, I
ahead.
have people that, so I have people that contact me. It's like, man, this black, I kind of like worn out, man. I'm waiting for another color, man. And this ain't just conversation. I tried to do what's called a pre-sale because the pre-sale makes the cost go down. So these people are like giving me money. Look, I'm gonna say this and end it like this. Well, I'm not in it, but I'm gonna just be quiet right after this. There's people who gave me money for the item. One person, one person, he called me the other day. He's like, yeah, man, just checking on this, that, and the other, whatever. So he's like, so he told me, he's like, and he didn't say it in an angry way. He's like, yeah, because I gave you, yeah, it was a year ago. I said, what, that was a year ago? I said, you gave it to me. I was like, he's like, yeah, man, I'm just checking. I was like, so my point is like, there's people who did the pre-sale because the pre-sale makes the item, whatever, like not so much, whatever, but did it, not complaining, paid for it, don't even have the product and waiting for it. So I'm gonna leave it right there.
Okay. So my last final question of this interview: what do you want people to remember about Warren Davis, the brand, and also about Dana Johnson, the person?
I just want people to respect the hustle, really. I mean, it seemed like a common thing to say, but it's so real. Because one thing back in the '90s I lived by is like there's a guy named John John. I call him John John, which is John Monopoly. People know him as kind of Kanye's Magic, kind of like not. He's like in and out. But one thing that I remember about them in the '90s, because he has hustle. One thing I remember about him in the '90s is they picketed WGCI. They went out there and picketed. Like these guys had hustle. So I'm bringing him up because it seems so common and so simple to say, but again, life is simple. It's not easy, nothing easy, but it's simple. People just make things difficult. Like they just make things difficult. So I say respect the hustle, respect the, I mean, I wouldn't even call it grind because everything just falls into place. It's just a hustle, meaning that, hey, meaning like today, I had 3 hours of sleep. You're not getting 8 hours. Don't expect 8 hours. Don't expect 7 hours. Don't expect 6 hours. If you get 6 hours of sleep, be happy you got 6 hours. You got to respect the hustle. I had to get up. I had a long night. I had a bunch of stuff to do. I went to sleep in the morning. I had a few hours of sleep and I'm up. And
Yeah.
after I get off of here, I'm going to grab 2 hours from 2 to 4 and get back up.
Yeah.
That's the hustle.
I did. I apologize because I said that was my last one, but this is my actually last question for somebody that's coming up that's riding the same lane as you, whether it be clothing. We heard you say marketing and stuff like that. What would you tell them, or what advice would you give them to make the transition smoother and avoid the pitfalls?
In life, it's always about position. If you're not in the right space, then you ain't in the right place. Sounds like a rap. I just made it up in a rap, but That's what it is. You have to be in the right position. Everybody goes by this philosophy. It's like, oh yeah, it's all about who you know. It's never been my philosophy because you go to who you know for what they know. So you can bypass that and just get the knowledge. You got to get in position. Like there's so much stuff out there, like the 312 awards, whatever. I haven't gone, but I only brought that up because you have so many people in the music business in Chicago. You have a lot of marketing opportunities. All you have to do is you can just go there and just walk around. It's like buy a ticket and walk around. There's so many places that I've been by myself. I don't, I'm what's called a Sigma male. I don't know about like introvert or whatever, but I'm a Sigma male. I'm a Pisces Sigma male. I just get up and I make things happen by myself. I'm not waiting for nobody. I'm not looking for nobody to help me. I do things, you know, not with just intention for myself, but like I said, I spread everything around. Like I have a amazing assistant, KJ. KJ is amazing. Like she's amazing with what she does. But when it comes to the brand, whatever, I try to incorporate her and try to, put her face out there. She doesn't like that as much. But as far as the business, she's extremely helpful, whatever. So I met her on accident. I'll just leave it like that. I met her on accident because she was helpful to me at no charge. And when she was helpful to me at no charge, I was like, well, let's get some money in your pocket because if the brand makes money, then again, everybody should get something. Like that's just how it is.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, the you said you on Instagram, right?
Yes, yeah.
Tell them one more time where they can find you in case they want to follow you and check in with you.
So the brand is Warren Davis underscore London on Instagram. And then I use my regular social media, which is Yaka. I go by my other name, which is Yaka, YAKA underscore Atlanta, because I go back and forth to Atlanta for decades. So those are the two main ones. Um, Also, there's another one, Chicago on the Go USA. Chicago on the Go USA is the distributor for Warren Davis. So I'm actually gutting out a storefront that I have, and then I'm making it a distribution hub where not just me distributing for Warren Davis, but whoever has a brand or anything probably by the end of the year, hopefully, I'll be able to move the product, have an integrated system, probably through Sortly or something. And whoever's on the beach, you can be in Miami, you can be wherever you want to be. If you're an eBay seller, you're a clothing line or whatever, you'll be able to. We'll charge like a handling charge, storage fee, but in the cargo van, we could pick up, drop off, and then when UPS or when the order come, you can send it to here, the South Side of Chicago, the distribution center. We have it insured, locked down, shuttered. If anything happened, like I said, it's insured, and then the system will be able to come to you to their computer or their phone, and then wherever they are in the world, we can intake it. If UPS pull up in the truck, we intake it. They'll see we have 200. As the orders come in, we fill the orders, and then they can just stay on the beach and just drink a Long Island.
Mhm. That's what's up. That's what's up. So on that note right there, man, this has been another Chaotic 101 with the brand, the designer, the owner, quality over quantity, Mr. Dana Johnson. You know what I'm saying? With Warren Davis, London, man. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with him, check him out. And he dropped a lot of jewels in this interview. If you on the grind, you definitely want to tap in. Till the next time, it's your boy Chaotic One, and this right here is Mr. Dana Johnson.
Thanks.
One love.